I'm at South by Southwest. I just watched A24's latest film, Friendship, for the second time, starring Paul Rudd and Tim Robinson. I actually saw this back at TIFF before it had a distributor. I got to attend a screening here at the Paramount Theater in Austin, and after second watch, I loved this movie even more, and that's not really what I expected after my first watch. Friendship follows a man trying to befriend his new neighbor, but it soon threatens to ruin both of their lives. Right out of the gate, I do want to apologize for the very different setup. I'm between movies. This is the only time I had to record today, and I really want to talk about this film, especially after watching it for a second time. For starters, Tim Robinson is definitely the lead in this film, and I'll get into him in just a second here, but Paul Rudd plays the main supporting character, and I think he is absolutely phenomenal. He is so hilarious, but not in an outwardly funny way. Tim Robinson is obviously the main comedic character, and he's the thing that the story revolves around, but not only Paul Rudd, but every single piece of the supporting cast, and the story in general is so entertaining because of all of the side characters and the great performances, the great chemistry, and all that kind of stuff. It all works perfectly. I think this will go down as one of the most underrated Paul Rudd performances just because he has little screen time, but his impact is really great. And then Tim Robinson is phenomenal. But you can't talk about Tim Robinson in this movie without talking about kind of just the way this movie is structured overall. And it really is just one long ass sketch, or I guess a bunch of sketches put together to become a big skit. But that's fun, that's exciting, and that's what had my theater absolutely going crazy. I mean, at a theater at TIFF, it was fun, it was exciting, it was interesting, but here it was even more insane. I mean, the Paramount Theater is known for having great reactions to comedic films, and there was maybe like 5 minutes of silence throughout the entire film, and that's a good thing for a film like this. This is a crowd-pleasing film that you can go out and watch on a Friday night, and I think the entire theater will have a great reaction. It is something very different than any humorous type of comedic film I've seen distributed by A24 themselves. Usually they're blending it with another genre, but this is strictly a comedy, but I think it's great. As for the humor itself, the first time around, it really worked for me, and it was absolutely hilarious, and I loved it. But I also thought it was because my entire theater was laughing, and my second watch, I was originally going to watch it when it came out in theaters again, but I saw it at South by Southwest, and arguably the most electric theater experience of my entire life. So I didn't really get to judge it again on a baseline level, but it was still very fun. The entire theater was laughing so hard. I was having a great time. Obviously, I wasn't laughing as much because I already knew what was going to happen. One thing I was really worried about was, now that I knew the humor, was the story itself not going to stick? Because to me, what it really lacked the first time around was structure. But here, it actually kept its weight really well. I think the second to third act has a little sequence that I guess I was kind of looking forward to or anticipating again because I knew it was pretty weak, and I was interested to see if it would be weak once again, and I still do think it does. And I don't really think that main driving plot line at the very back half of the movie is good, but it's not the worst thing in the world. And I was still laughing my ass off. So, and I think that's where I also get into the pacing issue of this movie, just because it's funny, it's really hilarious, and they do great callbacks, but the first half of this movie is easily the best part of it. The second half's not bad, but obviously once you have to start getting into the nitty-gritty and actually moving a story forward, that's where kind of the big sketch format doesn't work. And finally, on a technical level, I think the score and the visuals aid this movie so well. It was funny seeing this before A24 picked it up, because before A24 picked it up, we didn't know who would pick it up at all, because we thought A24 had already picked up way too many movies at that point in time from TIFF, Cannes, all that kind of stuff. But they picked this one up, and now watching the movie, I'm like, damn, this does look like an A24 movie. That's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, obviously there's a similar visual language you get. And then the score is really great. I think technically it's really able to wrap up the film really well. And I feel like a lot of times comedic films aren't crafted the best, especially if they're not like a film festival movie. But all in all, I really enjoyed Friendship, from two phenomenally performances in Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd to a just well-crafted overall comedic film. It will guaranteed be a great time in the theater. Overall, I'm going to give Friendship an 8 out of 10. If you guys have seen or want to check out Friendship, let me know what you think of it in the comments down below. Subscribe for more coverage here at South by Southwest. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.